A blue monster appears, leaving destruction in its wake. A bald man in a cloak decides to deal with this situation. He saves a young girl from the monster, who calls himself Vaccina, claiming to have a backstory better than just being a hero for entertainment. But before he finishes his speech, Sidima defeats him with a single blow, and disappointedly says, "Ah, again, down from a single blow." A couple of years ago, the unemployed Sidima encountered a half-crab, half-man named Shapenta, but he left him alone. A little boy with an impressive chin drew a skin on Shapenta's shell, and through a video, demanded payment for it. But Sidima decides to save the child and kills the crab with a tie, pulling out its eye. After that, he trained so hard that he became colossal in our time. Sidima remembers how a colossal man interrupted his shopping spree. Apparently, a mad scientist created a serum to make his brother, Stafugolov, the strongest man in the world. The program appears on the left shoulder while the scientist talks about how they will rule the world with it until he notices Sidima and tells his brother to kill the man on his shoulder. Colossal, enraged, tries to get rid of Sidima by sending him deep underground. Feeling devastated, Colossal, being the strongest man, agrees that he has too much power and is bored, and Sidima knocks him out with a single right hook, sending the giant into a deadly knockout. Sidima notices that less emotion is needed when you can solve everything with a single blow. When Sidima wakes up, an underground invasion of the earth begins, in which 70 residents of Sidima perish. Finally, opponents who can revive his fighting spirit appear, and they even have a king. But he wakes up and discovers what is really happening is an invasion, but nothing like what he imagined in his dream. Later, a giant roll of mosquitoes flies over the city, while Sidima desperately tries to catch at least one. A cyborg appears in the abandoned area and finds out that the woman mosquito is controlling the mosquitoes. She tears off the cyborg's arm, and he tears off both her legs. Sidima runs down the street, spraying mosquito repellent on one, and encounters the cyborg and a giant swarm of mosquitoes surrounding the queen mosquito. Despite the cyborg attacking the swarm, the queen knocks him out because she has drunk too much blood. Sidima slaps her down with a single blow. Genos is shocked by Sidima's strength and wants to become his disciple. And he's not joking. Achilles, he appears at his doorstep a week later, accompanied by Genos, insisting that Sidima be called his teacher and that he tell the entire story of his life. Genos' story is that some cyborg destroyed his hometown along with its residents, forcing Genos to become a cyborg himself and seek revenge on another cyborg. A mysterious figure decides to capture Sidima for his genetic experiments, sending genetically modified creatures after him. Upon arriving at the evolution house, Genos blows up the entire above-ground complex. One of the clones is freed. It's Kabuto, the pinnacle of the clone's evolution. According to the doctor, he will quickly deal with Genos without much effort. However, when he goes to attack Sidima, he retreats in horror at his strength and lack of defensive thoughts. Before the fight, Sidima reveals the secret of his strength: 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every day for 3 years, or at least until your hair falls out. But it's just regular strength training, which can't be his secret, unfortunately for everyone in the room. That's what it is. It's as if he switches to berserk mode, and will be in this frenzy for a whole week until Saturday. Sidima looks defeated. He doesn't even resist. He made a serious mistake. He missed the supermarket discount day. Sidima knocks out Kabuto with one blow, and Genos assures that there is still enough time to shop before the supermarket closes. They punch a hole in the wall and rush into the store. Dr. Jennings immediately abandons his research as the Hero Association follows up on the destructive aftermath. After passionate speech about banks and unemployment by a terrorist named Hammer, his group demolishes the knowledge belonging to Zenir, a wealthy and influential person. Sidima wakes up from a troubled dream and finds out that a group of terrorists is wreaking havoc, and he won't stand for it because now every bald man is an enemy to society. Zenir doesn't need to look far for help. He hires an assassin who conveniently appears just in time to deal with Hammer. He quickly deals with his group, freeing their bodies from heads. The young man slips away and accidentally meets Sidima in the forest, who destroys his stolen battle suit. Later, the assassin shows up and thinks Sidima is a terrorist too. Sidima is dismayed that he has no idea who he is. The hired killer runs around Sidima, introducing himself as Sonic. The only thing that slows Sonic down is saying his own name. He's surprised that Sidima can block his attacks. Sonic flies at Sidima's fist, but then swears they'll meet again soon. Later, Genos tells Sidima they have a problem. Nobody knows who he is, despite defeating more monsters than any other hero. If he wants recognition, he'll have to register officially as a hero. They agree to register together, with Genos becoming his official disciple. Their only obstacle is the physical and written exams. Sidima destroys all the physical tests and most of the equipment while there. Genos scores top marks on both exams. Genos becomes a hero of the A class, confident in his teacher. They start celebrating, but it seems Genos misread the top half of the letter as in a instead of an S. Sidima, who only scored 1 point despite the excellent physical exam, is the only one to pass the hero exam. They must endure a lesson from the class's hero, who is disappointed with their lack of attention. Sneg tries to catch Sedima to further embarrass himself. Genos challenges Sedima to a sparring match and asks his teacher to go all out. Genos is completely bewildered by Sedima's incredible strength. He still can't believe that Sedima's training is really so secret and that he is on a completely different level. After Genos, Sedima goes to the cafe where the class's heroes want to talk to him. Sweet Mask greets Genos ominously, mentioning that they haven't met since they became heroes and since Genos moved in with Sedima. He mentions that Class C heroes need to meet a quota or they'll be removed from the hero list. He also mentions that Sedima needs to train Genos, but he has no idea what he can teach him. He quickly comes up with something he read in a manga about training the mind or something like that and sets him the goal of entering the top 10 classes heroes. Sonic appears and wants a rematch against Sedima. Once again, he gets scared when Sedima breaks his katana and threatens him in anger. A woman points at them when another class's hero wants to stop them. Saitama initially thinks Sonic is a criminal, but he becomes even more irritated when he realizes that nobody recognizes him as a hero. Sonic throws an exploding shuriken at the hero, Tiger Tank Top, and begins to sow chaos. Sedima can't stop him because he needs to find the villain. Sedima finds Sonic and knocks him out with a single blow to the head. Later, two Class A heroes, Golden Ball and Spring Mustache, arrive in the city to investigate the monster sightings. The monster is also investigating, and ultimately they collide. Golden Ball is knocked out almost immediately, as Spring Mustache calls for backup before being defeated. Sedima goes home and encounters the monster. Later, Sedima makes soup from the seaweed of that same monster. We are then shown how a giant meteor changes its trajectory directly towards Sidizi. When the Hero Association calls for Genos, only Bang appears. He informs Genos of the situation before he can try out his new upgrades. Genos fires one of his rockets at the meteor, but it has no effect. Genos starts to worry until Bang calms him down. Genos uses all his energy in one shot, but it still has no effect. Sedima appears, refusing to let his city be destroyed, and delivers one blow, smashing the meteor into smaller fragments that fall on the city, causing massive destruction. Surprisingly, no one is injured. After the events, Sedima's rank jumps from 342nd in the Class C to 5th, despite the fact that he did what two classes heroes couldn't. He comes out on patrol just to be stopped by Tank Top Tiger and another hero in a tank top who try to turn the citizens against Sedima for destroying the city and manipulating rankings. Sedima gets angry and yells at the crowd, who ignore the fact that they wouldn't be standing there without him. Sedima does it all not because he has to, but because he wants to. Genos calms him down before Sedima can start a bigger dramatic scene. Later, the sea folk announce their invasion on the surface. Satyr rushes to the scene, but he arrives too late. Sedima is already there and has taken care of it. In the city, Class as Hero Stinger defeats some sea folk who are starting to appear. While Sedima watches the incident reports, Seeking appears and easily defeats Stinger. When Genos and Satyr arrive at the scene, Max deliberates whether to intervene when Seeking appears behind him and kills him with one blow. Later, we see the sound of fleeing criminals. Puri Prisoner, a Class as hero, along with Sonic, encounters the Seeking, who proves difficult to handle. When the rain starts, the Seeking becomes much stronger and faster. At this time, Saitama notices the missing Genos and starts looking for him. Sonic runs away, leaving his clothes behind, and tells Genos not to worry but to run past Saitama. During his retreat, Saitama notices him and jumps off his bicycle, wondering who the naked guy is. Satyr drops his phone when the Hero Association calls him. Genos confronts the Seeking and is knocked out when he tries to save a little girl. At that moment, Satyr appears and adamantly refuses to surrender, delivering an inspiring speech and garnering applause from the spectators. Saitama saves him before the Seeking can kill him, knocking out the Seeking with one blow. Sonic, now dressed, returns with his weapon, a few seconds too late to kill the monster. Later, at Genos' apartment, Saitama receives many fan letters, but one is from a hater. It triggers memories of the recent battle, where Saitama justifies himself to a member of the crowd, lying to them and saying that his words are true, portraying himself as a guy who just interferes to steal the reputation of other heroes, making them appreciate the heroes and those who died. A third letter arrives from the Hero Association, granting him a Class C rank 1 and inviting him to a meeting to decide if he should move up to Class B. They discuss whether he is a fake despite his record-breaking test results. On his way home, he stops to eat something and encounters Satyr, who offers to treat him to a drink, as he couldn't say everything in his thank you letter. Later, at Bang's dojo, Bang tells Genos and Saitama that one of his students has gone crazy and defeated all his top students. Someone from the Hero Association arrives and announces an emergency meeting for all classes heroes. Saitama goes with them since he has nothing else to do. Madame Shibabawa, who predicted the monster attack, dies, but before her last breath, she predicts that the Earth seems to be in trouble. Sometime in the next 6 months, suddenly, their apartment is attacked by a giant alien spacecraft that appears in the sky and levels the city with the ground. Genos looks around, but Saitama has already punched a hole in the ceiling. He effortlessly climbs aboard the ship, leaving the class's heroes to fight on the ground. One of the aliens, Jiryuganshu, panics while Saitama mindlessly runs through the ship, breaking everything in his path. On the ground, the heroes fight against the regenerating multi-headed alien, Mels Gerd. Meanwhile, Saitama continues his search for the captain, accidentally breaking everything he touches. The hero battling the alien struggles because physical attacks don't work on it until a metal bat is found and used to destroy the blue orb, killing one of the alien's heads. When Saitama contacts the telepath and is told to leave, claiming he's lost, the alien is more than happy to send him off the ship. However, Saitama decides to go the opposite way, smashing through doors until he finds the telekinetic alien. The telepath tries to scare him with telekinesis, but Saitama dismisses it as a waste of time, using his power to throw a pebble back at him, hitting him in the head. The ship's gunner waits for confirmation but decides to shoot without it. The class's hero, Tornado, stops the barrage of bullets, redirecting it onto the ship. Saitama rescues survivors in the city, inspiring other low-ranking heroes to join him. Bang destroys another blue orb, leaving only one head remaining. A fight breaks out, and Bang is sent flying through several buildings. On the ship, Saitama breaks down the doors of the alien leader, who recognizes him as the strongest warrior on the planet. Before they start fighting, he wants to exchange names out of respect, declaring himself Bros, leader of the dark matter thieves, and ruler of the universe. Saitama introduces himself and says he's a hero for fun. Obviously bored with being such a powerful extraterrestrial seer, Bros had made a prediction that he would find someone worthy to fight him. Saitama ends blows and breaks his armor, which reflects his power. Saitama has no trouble standing up to Bros. He even tears off his arm. At this time, Tornado begins to attack the ship with her telekinesis, while Drive Knight warns Genos that Metal Knight is not in a lie. Bang, in excellent form, destroys the last of the aliens' heads. Bros continues his merciless attack on Saitama, who is still completely unfazed by what he says and whether he truly possesses powerful regenerative abilities. However, Saitama interrupts the villain's monologue until Bros sends him flying to the moon with a blow. Saitama looks around and jumps back to Earth, making an impression. It's time to finish this. Saitama finally employs one of his most powerful techniques, consecutive normal pinches, but this only provokes Bros to fight back and use his signature move. Forced to do so, he uses his serious strike, which catches Sweet Mask off guard and enrages him due to the battle's outcome. Meanwhile, Metal Knight sends a drone to collect alien technology to incorporate into his own suit. Genos wonders where his teacher is when Saitama makes his way out of the ship. They ignore the evil heroine Tornado and casually chat about how Saitama defeated Bros, although the city was wiped off the map. They restore the Hero Association with parts salvaged from the ship, establish a hero base, and invite Hero Franco there. Sometime later, Saitama encounters the Plutonian king of the criminal world, only to become enraged when he defeats everyone with a single blow.